Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Kick a Tire Productions. In this video I will document my custom build of the 1960 four-door Chevrolet Impala driven by brother and sister Derry and Trish in the first Jeepers Creepers movie. I believe this vehicle is just as iconic as the Creepers truck itself, and to my knowledge no toy company makes a 1/64 scale 1960 four-door Impala like this one. The closest car I could find to start with is this Racing Champions two-door Impala Arkansas State Police car. I picked it up loose on eBay. It was such a nice looking car, it was a shame to start tearing it up. It was even close to the right color too, but as they say, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. So the first thing I did was remove the police light, which actually just fell out in my hand. That was easy enough. The next step was to drill out the bottom rivets and drill and tap new screw holes. Then disassemble the car. You have the chassis, the interior, the glass which I had to modify. I'll talk about that later. The front and rear bumpers and tail lights, the wheels, tires, and axles, the hood, the engine, the dash, and the partition between the front and rear seats. You'll probably see this piece again when I do the station wagon Michael Myers stole from the Smith Grove Sanitarium. The first modification I wanted to do was to cut out the front vent glass post. Something about that just didn't look right. I did both sides. The next thing I did was grind both door handles off. If this was going to be a four-door, then those handles weren't definitely in the wrong place. Usually your first step is stripping the paint, but I finally got around to it. I noticed that 1960 four-door Impalas have a longer top that stretches over the back glass, so I used the super glue baking soda technique to attach a piece of tin to the top, then sanded it a little. This is what it looked like underneath. I also filled the police light hole on top. This is another shot underneath. One of the hardest parts about this build was cutting the new door lines. It was for me anyways. I ground down a hacksaw blade to a point you see here and was able to very carefully cut the lines. Once that was done, it was time to fill in the old lines and the extra top piece with Bondo. Then do a little sanding. I let that rest a while and did a little work on the interior pieces. Here you can see I used part of a sewing stick pin as the gear shift. As some of you may already know, the movie car actually had an automatic transmission. The gear shifter was just a prop for dramatic purposes. Here I did a little paintwork to the seats and the dash. I turned black walls into white walls. The movie car had side pipes, so I cut and shaped two Carter key pieces and glued them to the bottom chassis. Since I was making a four-door, I needed to include rear door glasses, so I cut two pieces of glass from another junk car and superglued them to the Impala glass piece. Speaking of the door glasses, it was time to put the extra doorpost in. I attached a piece of Carter key for the middle post on both sides and the same for the rear vent glass post. I wanted to keep all the posts the same width so they would look as much like factory as possible. Before I primed it for the first time, I assembled the car just to ensure everything still fit. As I've said before, your first primer coat does a nice job of showing your imperfections. So it was time for more Bondo. I decided to try washing the bottom of the chassis in black. After all, we weren't dealing with a show car here. This was Trish's everyday driver car. I thought it looked pretty good for an experiment. After sanding and priming a little more, it was time to paint. Here it is in the base. I used real automotive base coat. It was a hard color to match, and I'm still not satisfied with it. Once it was painted, I realized it needed to be a paler blue, even approaching silver. But all the screenshots seemed to show a different shade. so I let it ride. Before I painted the clear, I put white automotive striping tape down the sides to simulate the white moldings. I decided to use spray can clear instead of real automotive clear coat. After all, like I said, this was Trish's everyday car, and in the movie it didn't look like it had much of a shine. Once the clear coat dried, I carefully taped off the top and spray painted it white. For hand painting the chrome, I put the body between two stacks of books to get the right height for resting my arm while I painted. Here it is all assembled and ready for a road trip on a nice sunny day. What could possibly go wrong? Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of my upcoming videos. Not sure what my next 1/64 scale build will be. I might give Christine tinted windows. After all, she needs her privacy. Thanks so much for watching.